What if I told you there are 40 proven rules that separate the rich from everyone else? And no, it's not about being born rich or getting lucky. It's a system, a playbook that anyone can copy. This video is your first step. We're going to break down the most critical rules from that playbook, starting with the one thing that changes everything, your mindset. If you're ready to stop trading your time for money and start building real wealth, do two things for me right now. Hit that like button and subscribe. Let's build your financial freedom, starting today. The first stop on this journey isn't your bank account. It's not your portfolio. It's the operating system running between your ears. We have to dismantle the biggest illusion that keeps people trapped, the idea that making money is the goal. It's not. Money is a tool, a brutally powerful one. With it, you can construct the life of your dreams, or you can let it become the hammer that repeatedly crushes your own ambitions. The tool itself has no loyalty. Its power is in how you wield it. The real goal isn't a number in an account. It's what that number buys you. And I'm not talking about a Lambo. I'm talking about something priceless, autonomy, the freedom to wake up and own your day, every day. The raw power of choice. To truly grasp this, we need to look at a game-changing concept from the book, The Millionaire Fastlane, which reveals the three financial roads people travel. First, you have the sidewalkers. They live paycheck to paycheck. Their financial plan is hope. Any extra cash is instantly vaporized on the next dopamine hit, a new gadget, a night out. Then you have the slow lane. This is the path we're all told is safe and responsible. Get a good job, sacrifice 10% to your 401k, clip coupons, and maybe, if you're lucky, you can retire a millionaire at 65. But here's the brutal truth. You are trading your youth, your energy, your one and only life for freedom when you're too old to fully enjoy it. But then, there's the fast lane. Fast laners operate on a different rule book. They understand their time is the only asset that's truly non-renewable. They refuse to trade 40 years for a finish line they might never cross. So they don't work for money. They build systems that work for them. They create assets. They solve problems at a massive scale. You see the profound difference? The sidewalk and the slow lane are about you being the engine. If you stop, the money stops. It's a hamster wheel. The fast lane is about building an engine that runs without you. You build it once, and it keeps pumping out cash whether you're on a beach in Thailand or fast asleep. Once you make this mental flip from being a servant to money to becoming its master, the entire game changes. You stop asking, how much can I earn? And you start asking, how can I build a system that earns for me? This leads us to the single most important financial distinction you will ever make. It's the difference between the person who drives a new Mercedes to their high-stress job every day and the person who owns the dealership. It's the difference between being rich and being wealthy, and they are not the same thing, not even close. Being rich is about income. It's a number on your paycheck. You can be a doctor earning $500,000 a year and be rich, but you are on a high-speed treadmill. And the bigger the paycheck, the faster that treadmill spins. You get a nicer house, a faster car, more expensive vacations. But the moment you stop running, you get laid off, you burn out, you fly off the back and lose everything. It's a fragile, exhausting game. Being wealthy is different. It's not about your income, it's about your assets. Wealth is measured in one thing, time. If you stopped working today, how long could you survive? The answer to that question? That reveals your true wealth. The wealthy don't run on the treadmill. They own systems that generate money for them 24/7. This is the central lesson from Rich Dad. Poor Dad, a book that rewired an entire generation's thinking about money. The core idea is brutally simple. The poor and middle class work for money. The wealthy have assets that work for them. They focus on building and buying things that put money into their pockets month after month. I learned this the hard way. I remember getting my first significant raise. I felt like I had finally made it. I was officially rich, or so I thought. So what did I do? I immediately upgraded my life. The tiny apartment became a bigger one with a better view. The beat-up car was replaced with something shiny and new. My spending inflated perfectly to swallow every single extra dollar. A few months later, I looked at my bank account and the number at the end of the month was exactly the same as before the raise, basically zero. I was earning more, but I was just as trapped. I was a hamster on a gold-plated wheel. That's when it hit me. I wasn't playing the game of wealth. I was playing the game of looking rich. So I changed the rules. I stopped asking, how can I get the next promotion? And started asking a completely different question. What is the first asset I can buy? Not a liability that looks like an asset, like a new car, but something that would actually generate income. For me, it started incredibly small. It was the decision to buy one share of a dividend-paying stock instead of going out for a fancy dinner. A few months later, a deposit hit my account. It was for something like $3. It was nothing, but it was also everything. It was the first dollar I had ever earned that I didn't trade my life hours for. It was proof, a tiny, whirring gear in a machine that I could build piece by piece that would one day run without me. That $3 changed my entire financial DNA. From that day on, every dollar I earned had a new purpose, not just to be spent, but to be deployed as a soldier, sent out to capture more dollars and bring them back to me. So look at your own life. Are you playing the game of being rich, constantly chasing a bigger shovel to dig with? Or are you starting to play the game of being wealthy, looking for a small seed you can plant that will grow into a money tree? But even after you've made that critical shift from chasing income to building wealth, there's a thief working against you 24/7. It's silent, it's relentless, and it's living in your pocket. I'm talking about the comparison game. You open your phone, in seconds, you're drowning in a highlight reel of everyone else's life. Your old high school classmate just bought a house you can't afford. A colleague is on a beach in Bali while you're stuck in traffic. A total stranger just unboxed a watch that costs more than your car. It's an endless, perfectly curated stream of everything you don't have, and it is a game you are designed to lose. So let's be brutally honest for a second. Think about the last big purchase you made. That car, that vacation, that jacket. Did you buy it because you truly, deeply wanted it, or because it would look good in a photo? Did you buy it for your own joy or to prove something to people whose opinions don't even matter? This is the trap. We get caught in a cycle of earning more, just to spend more, just to keep up with other people who are also earning more, to spend more. It's a collective hallucination. As one financial writer brilliantly put it, for people stuck in this mindset, a simple, reliable car would never be enough. The very thought of a Toyota in the driveway makes them queasy. True financial freedom doesn't begin in your bank account. It begins right here in your head. It starts with the radical act of quitting a race you never signed up for. It starts by defining your own version of enough. This is the number one reason people with huge incomes are still broke. They have no finish line. They make $1 million, they want 2. They get 2, they want 5. The goalpost is always moving because they let the outside world set it for them. So how do you break free? You stop looking outward and you start looking inward. You start with gratitude. Seriously, before you list all the things you want, list everything you already have that you're thankful for. A roof over your head, food in the fridge, people you love. This simple act is like a system reboot for the envy machine. Then you do the real work. You get specific. You define your enough. Don't just say, I want to be free. Calculate it. What would it actually cost per month for you to live your ideal life? Not the life on Instagram, but the one that would genuinely make you happy. Maybe that's more time with your kids, the freedom to pursue a hobby, or the ability to travel twice a year without checking your bank account. When you put a real number on it, something powerful happens. The vague, intimidating monster of getting rich transforms into a concrete, solvable problem. You realize you don't need $1 billion. You might not even need $1 million. You just need enough assets to generate the income that covers your definition of a rich life. Once you've defined your own finish line, the external noise just dissolves. The neighbor's new car doesn't matter. The vacation photos lose their power. Your financial decisions are no longer about impressing others. They are about serving you and your freedom. And that is when you truly start to win. So let's pause for a moment. Before we talk about a single dollar, a single investment, or a single strategy, we have to recognize that the work we've just done is the most important part of this entire journey. Because this hasn't been about money. This has been about your mind. What we've just done is a mental demolition. It's about tearing down the old rickety structure of how society tells you to think about wealth, and in its place, drafting a brand new blueprint. This isn't a financial plan. It's a freedom plan. And it rests on 3 radical shifts that, for me, changed everything. First, we reclaimed money's proper role. I had to learn this the hard way. It is not the master, it is the servant. Its ultimate purpose isn't to buy more stuff to impress people we don't like. Its purpose is to buy back your time, to purchase your autonomy, to give you the undisputed ownership of your own life. Second, we drew a hard line in the sand between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is a high salary, a fancy car, and the constant grinding pressure to keep earning. It's a game of addition. Wealth is different. It's a portfolio of assets that work for you while you sleep. It's a game of multiplication. We've shifted our focus from the size of the paycheck to the strength of our asset-building system. Because, as others have noted, taking control of your financial life is about so much more than just earning a higher income. And finally, the third and most liberating shift. We unplugged from the comparison machine. We stopped letting social media set our financial goals. We chose to look inward, not outward, to define what enough truly means. Because true fulfillment isn't about winning a race against others. It's about aligning your finances with your own values and well-being. This is your new blueprint. Money as a tool, wealth as a system, and your own happiness as the only benchmark that matters. This foundation is everything. It's the compass that will guide every decision we make from here on out. Now, with that blueprint secure, we're ready to start building the machine. All right, the blueprint is drawn. The foundation of our new mindset is set. Now, it's time to pour the concrete. We're moving from why to how. Welcome to Act 2, Building the Machine. And the very first, most powerful, and non-negotiable gear in this machine is a rule so simple it almost sounds wrong. It's a phrase you've probably heard before, but I guarantee most people get it backwards. The rule is, pay yourself first. Now hold on, I know what that sounds like. It sounds like permission to go shopping. Oh, I got my paycheck, time to pay myself with that new pair of sneakers or that expensive dinner. That is not what this means. That's just consumerism in a clever disguise. Paying yourself first is the radical act of treating your future as the most important bill you have. Here's how it works. Before you pay your rent, before you pay your car note, before you pay for groceries or your Netflix subscription, before a single dollar goes out to anyone else, you take a predetermined portion of your income, say 10% or 15%, and you transfer it directly into a separate account. An account for savings, an account for investments, an account that your present-day self is not allowed to touch. You are paying your future self. You are making your freedom the #1 line item in your budget. Everyone else gets paid with what's left over. I remember the first time I truly put this into practice. For years, I did what everyone does. I'd get paid, my account would look healthy for a day, and then the money would just evaporate. Rent, bills, going out with friends. By the end of the month, my intention to save was just a sad, empty wish. I was always paying myself last, with the scraps. Then I decided to try this. I set up an automatic transfer. The day my paycheck was scheduled to arrive, I had the bank automatically move 10% of it into a high-yield savings account at a completely different bank, one that was a little annoying to access. The first month was weird. The amount in my main checking account looked smaller than I was used to. I felt a little pinch. I remember thinking twice about ordering takeout that week. I had to adjust. But a funny thing happened. I adjusted, and at the end of the month I was fine. But when I logged into that separate savings account, something magical had happened. There was money in it, money that under my old system would have simply vanished. I hadn't saved it with willpower. I had saved it with a system. I had forced myself to live on 90%, and in doing so, guaranteed that my future was 10% richer. That small, automated transfer was the first real money I ever saved systematically. It was the seed that proved the entire concept. It's not about how much you earn. It's about making your own wealth the first and most sacred financial priority. You are your most important asset. Pay that bill first. Okay, you've done it. That automated transfer is firing off with every paycheck. For the first time, a small pile of cash is growing in an account with your name on it. And you're feeling a new kind of power, the power of control. But here's the terrifying truth I learned almost immediately. Building this small pile of cash is one thing. Protecting it is another. Before you even think about investing, before you dream of stocks or real estate, we have to build the defense. Think of it this way. In any great strategy, you secure your base before you launch an attack. You don't send your army into the field while leaving your castle gates wide open. In finance, jumping straight to offense is the single biggest mistake people make. They get excited, they chase returns, and the first time life throws a punch, their entire plan crumbles. We're not going to do that. First, we build a moat. This is your emergency fund. It is a non-negotiable, sacred pile of cash that has one job and one job only: to protect you from disaster. Your car breaks down, you get a surprise medical bill. Your company announces layoffs. These are not if events, they are when events. Without an emergency fund, these problems become catastrophes. You're forced to sell your investments at the worst possible time, or, even worse, rack up high-interest credit card debt, completely sabotaging your own future. Your emergency fund is the firewall between you and financial ruin. The goal is to have 3 to 6 months' worth of essential living expenses saved. Not income, expenses. Calculate the bare minimum you need to survive each month. Rent, food, utilities, insurance. That's your target number. This money doesn't go into the stock market. It goes into a high-yield savings account, just like the one you set up to pay yourself first. It needs to be liquid, but not so accessible that you're tempted to dip into it for a weekend trip. Its job isn't to make you rich. Its job is to ensure you stay on the path to getting rich. Once that moat is dug and filling up, we turn our attention to the enemy already inside the walls. High-interest debt. I'm talking about credit card debt, payday loans, anything with an interest rate that makes your eyes water. This isn't just a bill, it's a wealth-destroying parasite. Think about the math. You might be thrilled to get an 8% return in the stock market, but your credit card is quietly charging you 22% on your balance. You are fighting a battle you cannot win. It's like trying to run up an escalator that's going down faster. Paying off a 22% interest debt is like getting a guaranteed, tax-free 22% return on your money. There is no investment on earth that can reliably offer you that. So, the order of operations is critical. First, build a small starter emergency fund, maybe 1 month's worth of expenses. Then, with every spare dollar you have, you attack your high-interest debt with ferocious intensity. Declare war on it. Once that debt is eliminated, you can then focus on fully funding your emergency fund to that 3 to 6 month level. This is the defensive part of the system. It's not the sexiest part, but it's the part that lets you sleep at night. It's what ensures that a bit of bad luck doesn't send you back to square one. Because only when the moat is full and the enemy is vanquished can we truly start to build the engine of growth. And that's when we get to unleash the most powerful force in the financial universe. All right, the defenses are up. The moat is dug, your emergency fund is in place, and the high-interest debt is gone. You've secured your financial castle. Now, it's time to build the engine, the one that will power your journey to freedom. Albert Einstein was once asked what he considered the most powerful force in the universe. He didn't say gravity or atomic energy. He reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. He was talking about compound interest. And what is it? It's your money making money. And then it's the money that money makes. It's a chain reaction. I want you to imagine a tiny snowball at the top of a very, very long hill. As it starts to roll, it picks up a little more snow, getting bigger. The bigger it gets, the more snow it picks up with each rotation. Soon, that tiny, insignificant snowball becomes an unstoppable avalanche of wealth. That is your money at work. The magic of this force comes down to 2 things, and 2 things only: starting as early as you can and being relentlessly consistent. Time is the fuel for this engine. Not genius, not luck, just time. I have to be honest with you. For years, I told myself, I'm young, I have time. I'll start investing seriously next year. When I finally sat down and ran the numbers on what that delay actually cost me, it wasn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It felt like a physical gut punch. Let me show you what I mean, because this is the kind of math that changes your life. Let's imagine 2 people, Alex and Ben. Both want to retire at 65. Both invest in the same simple way, earning an average 8% return. Alex starts at age 25. She puts away just $300 a month. That's it. Ben, like I was, waits. He starts 10 years later at age 35. He also puts away the exact same $300 a month. Now, let's fast forward to age 65. Ben, who started at 35, did pretty well. His consistent investment of $300 a month has grown to over $440,000. That's fantastic. He turned a total investment of $108,000 into nearly $500,000. But what about Alex? What was that 10-year head start actually worth? Alex, by starting at 25, ends up with over $1 million. Let that sink in. A 10-year delay cost Ben more than $500,000. Alex only invested $36,000 more out of pocket than Ben over her lifetime, but her final pile of cash is over twice as large. Why? Because that first decade of her money did the heaviest lifting. Her earliest dollars worked the longest and the hardest, compounding over and over for 40 years. Ben's money never had that chance. This is the raw, brutal power of compound interest. It's a force that is either working for you or working against you. Every single day you wait, you are giving up the most valuable asset you have in this game, time. So how do you harness it? You don't try to be a hero. You don't try to time the market or pick the next hot stock. That's a fool's game. The most effective strategy for most of us is also the simplest. Consistently buy a small piece of the entire market through a low-cost index fund. You're not betting on one company. You're betting on the long-term growth of the global economy. You set it, you forget it, and you let the snowball roll. This is the engine. This is the growth driver of your entire wealth machine. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-rich-for-sure system powered by time and consistency. So now the engine is designed, but even the most powerful engine is useless if the driver forgets to put gas in it. What if you get busy or scared during a market crash or just plain forget to invest 1 month? The single biggest point of failure in any financial plan is human emotion and inconsistency. So what if we could take our flawed, forgetful, emotional selves out of the driver's seat entirely? What if we could build a system that fuels itself, that runs on autopilot, making you rich while you sleep, work, or live your life, no willpower required? That's not a fantasy. That is the final piece of the machine, and we're going to bolt it into place next. This is it. The master switch. We've designed the engine, built the walls, and adopted the rules. But all of it relies on the single most unreliable component in the entire system, you. Your willpower, your memory, your discipline on a tired Tuesday after a long day at work. And let's be brutally honest, willpower is a muscle that gets exhausted. It's the reason diets fail, gym memberships go unused, and financial plans fall apart. We are the weakest link in our own systems, so we're going to fire ourselves from the job. We are going to build a system so robust, so reliable that it works despite our human flaws. We're building your lazy wealth system, because the most reliable system is the one that requires zero ongoing effort to maintain. It runs on its own. Here's the blueprint. You are going to become a ghost in your own financial machine. The moment your paycheck hits your bank account, a series of pre-programmed automatic transfers kicks in. This happens within hours, before you even have a chance to think about that new gadget or a weekend trip. Your money is deployed with the precision of a Swiss watch. First, your pay-yourself-first money, that 10, 15, or 20%, is automatically swept out of your main checking account and sent directly to your investment account. The snowball gets its fresh layer of snow without you lifting a finger. Second, another transfer automatically sends a designated amount to your high-yield savings account, topping up or maintaining your emergency fund. The fortress walls are reinforced automatically. Third, you can even set up a separate checking account just for your fixed bills. An automatic transfer sends the exact amount needed for rent, utilities, and insurance into that account. The bills get paid from there, no more, "Oops, I spent the rent money." Now, look what's left in your main checking account. That is your guilt-free spending money for the month. You don't have to budget it down to the last penny. You don't have to feel anxious every time you buy a coffee. Why? Because the important stuff has already been taken care of. Your future self has already been paid. Your investments are already working for you. Your bills are covered. This one change fundamentally flips the script. You go from being an active saver, someone who tries to consciously save what's left at the end of the month, to a passive investor. You've engineered saving as the default. You are now forced to live off the remainder, and you'd be amazed at how quickly you adapt. This automated system is your new financial butler. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't get emotional during a market dip. It doesn't forget. It just executes the plan month after month, year after year. It's a quiet, loyal employee working 24/7 in the background with a single mission, to make you wealthy. And all you had to do was spend 30 minutes one time setting it up in your bank's app. This is the glue that holds everything together. It's how you ensure the engine of compound interest never runs out of fuel. It's how you make sure your financial fortress is always guarded. You've taken your greatest liability, your own inconsistent human behavior, and designed it right out of the system. All right, let's zoom out. For the last few chapters, we've been in the workshop assembling the gears and wiring of a powerful engine. We've moved from the why to the how. Now, I want you to step back and admire what you've actually built. Because this isn't just a handful of financial tips. This is a machine, your personal automated freedom machine, and it stands on 4 pillars, working in perfect sync. The first pillar is the machine's lifeblood, the principle of paying yourself first. This is the main intake valve, the non-negotiable first step. It ensures the most valuable portion of your income is automatically funneled into your future before the world gets its hands on it. We're not saving what's left over. We are building our wealth first. Your future is the most important bill you will ever pay. The second pillar is the machine's force field, your financial defense. This is your emergency fund and your debt destruction plan. The emergency fund is the shock absorber, shielding the entire system from the chaos of life. A surprise medical bill, a sudden job loss. It ensures a temporary crisis doesn't force you to sell your assets at the worst possible time. In eliminating high-interest debt, that's like removing a self-destruct sequence that was silently eating the machine from the inside out. You cannot build a fortress when the enemy is already burning it down from within. The third pillar is the heart of the machine, the fusion reactor at its core, the engine of compound interest. This is where the fuel you've captured is ignited. By consistently investing in the entire market through low-cost funds, you're not just saving, you are deploying an army. Every dollar becomes a soldier whose only mission is to go out and recruit more soldiers. This is the quiet, relentless force that turns small, consistent contributions into an unstoppable avalanche of wealth. And finally, the fourth pillar, the ghost in the machine that runs the entire show, total automation. This is what makes the system invincible. It's the master program that links every other pillar, making them work seamlessly without ever relying on your faulty human discipline. It's the set of instructions that tells your money exactly where to go, to your investments, to your emergency fund, to your bills, the second it arrives. It removes the single biggest point of failure from the system, you. So take a good look at what you've designed, a system that forces you to invest, that protects itself from disaster, that grows your wealth 24/7, and that does it all on autopilot. You've flipped the switch. The machine is now working while you sleep, while you're on vacation, while you're living your life. It is humming along quietly in the background, building the foundation of your freedom. The machine is built, the system is running. But this raises a new, far more exciting question. A perfectly automated machine, saving 10% of a $50,000 salary, will change your life. But what if we could feed it more fuel? What if we could turn that into 15% of an $80,000 salary, or 20% of a $120,000 salary? Now that the foundation is secure, our next job is to figure out how to supercharge it. So what is this rocket fuel? It's not a secret stock pick. It's not the next crypto coin that promises to go to the moon. It's something you already own. It's you. The single greatest, highest return investment you will ever make is in your own skills. We fight and claw for an 8% or 10% annual return from the market, and that's a crucial part of the plan. But ask yourself this: what is the return on a skill that allows you to double your income? It's not 100%. It's not even 1,000%. It's effectively infinite. Because you invest the time and money to learn it once, and it pays you dividends for the rest of your career. Think about it. The stock market can crash. The housing market can dip. But a high-value skill, once you have it, is yours forever. It can't be taken from you. Skills like copywriting, sales, coding, or effective marketing aren't just lines on a resume. They are economic levers. They give you the power to create value from nothing but your own mind. You have 100% control over improving that skill, a level of control you will never have over the global economy. While everyone else is praying for a bull market, you are becoming the bull market. The fastest way to flood your wealth machine with capital isn't to micromanage your coffee budget. It's to increase the size of the entire pipeline. And that begins by upgrading the most powerful asset you will ever own, the central processing unit between your ears. The highest leverage way to do this? Reading. Specifically, reading books on business, wealth creation, and human psychology. A $15 book can contain one single idea that changes your entire financial trajectory, an idea that could be worth $1 million over your lifetime. It is the greatest information arbitrage opportunity on the planet. I want to share the one book that was the turning point for me. It wasn't about investing, it was about psychology. Influence by Robert Cialdini. Before reading it, I was good at my job, but I was terrible at communicating its value. I would do incredible work and then get so nervous in a negotiation that I'd underprice myself, hoping the client would just magically recognize my worth. Influence taught me that persuasion isn't about trickery or manipulation. It's about understanding the fundamental triggers that guide human decisions. I learned about social proof, scarcity, and authority, and I had a revelation. My job wasn't to sell a service, it was to guide a person to the solution for a problem they already had. So I put it to the test. Instead of just saying what I could do, I started showing what I had done for others. That's social proof. I stopped being available for everything, making my time and expertise a scarce resource. The next time I walked into a negotiation for a big project, everything was different. I didn't timidly ask for a little more. I confidently laid out the value I would bring, anchored it to my past results, and proposed a fee that was 3 times what I would have dared to ask for just 6 months earlier. And they said yes, without blinking. That single $15 book was directly responsible for a massive leap in my income that year. It was the rocket fuel I needed to pour into my automated wealth machine. Your system is the engine. Your earning power is the throttle. Now it's time to push it to the floor. But even with the throttle pushed to the floor, there's a critical vulnerability in this machine, a single point of failure that could cause the entire structure to collapse. It's your paycheck. For most people, even high earners, their entire financial world is balanced on that one single pillar, your job. And that pillar, no matter how strong it seems, can be kicked out from under you with a single email, a corporate restructuring, an industry shift, a new boss you don't click with. And suddenly, the fuel line to your entire wealth machine is severed. Relying on a single salary is the financial equivalent of building a skyscraper on one column. The most resilient, unshakable financial structures aren't built on one pillar. They're built on many. This is the critical shift from just earning more to building more. We're talking about creating multiple, independent streams of income. This doesn't mean burning yourself out working 3 jobs. It means building systems that work for you. This is the income from your investment portfolio. It's a side business that solves a specific problem for a specific audience. It's a digital product that sells while you sleep. It's monetizing the expertise you're already developing. The key is to start ridiculously small. You don't need to build a second empire overnight. You just need to build a second stream. And then a third. Each one might start as a tiny trickle, but together, they form a river of cash flow that makes you financially indestructible. I remember the first time this clicked for me in a real way. After mastering the skill I mentioned earlier, I found myself giving the same advice over and over to people. It was exhausting. Then I had a thought. What if I just packaged the solution? I spent one weekend, not months, one single weekend, writing a short 20-page PDF guide. It wasn't fancy. I put it on a simple website for $10. I didn't run ads. I just sent the link to the next person who asked. A few days later, I woke up, checked my phone, and saw a notification. You've made a sale. Someone I had never met in a different time zone had paid me $10 while I was asleep. The amount was insignificant, but the feeling was seismic. It wasn't about the money, it was the proof. I had created something from nothing, from an idea, and it had generated value without me being there. I had validated the most powerful concept in wealth creation. I had decoupled my time from my income. That tiny trickle gave me the confidence to build more, to improve the guide, to create other small products, to turn that single stream into a small but steady flow. That is the goal. Not to overwhelm yourself, but to prove to yourself that it's possible. To build one small, independent income stream. Then use that momentum to build another, because true financial security isn't about how much you earn from one source, but about how many sources you earn from. So, you've started sharpening your skills and building out your income streams. Your wealth machine is no longer just a blueprint, it's running. But there's a massive difference between a machine that runs and a machine that flies. The final accelerator, the one that creates exponential, almost unfair advantages, isn't something you can buy. It's something you must earn your way into. You've probably heard the phrase 1,000 times. Your network is your net worth. It's so common, it's lost its meaning. People think it means handing out business cards or adding connections on LinkedIn. That's not it at all. Your circle is your reality. It dictates the conversations you have, the ideas you're exposed to, and the opportunities that even appear on your radar. Wealth isn't just about money. It's about access to information and perspective. One insight, dropped in a casual conversation at a dinner party by someone who's 10 steps ahead of you, can be more valuable than a year of grinding alone in your office. It can save you from a catastrophic mistake or point you toward a hidden goldmine you would have never found on your own. This is the power of leverage. You're leveraging someone else's decades of experience, their mistakes, and their victories. Trying to build wealth in isolation is like trying to find your way through a dense forest at night with only a tiny flashlight. Being in the right circle is like having someone in a helicopter overhead telling you exactly which way to turn. But here's the wall most people hit. They think, why would someone who's incredibly successful even talk to me? I have nothing to offer. This belief is the door that locks you out of the rooms where real growth happens. You need to reframe the entire interaction. It's not about asking for a handout. It's about making a deposit. It's a value exchange, and you have more value than you think. Maybe you can't offer them a business deal, but can you offer them a unique perspective from a different generation or industry? Can you use your skills, maybe you're a great writer or understand a new social media platform, to solve a small problem for them, with no expectation of anything in return? Even more powerful than that is your genuine, well-researched interest. Don't approach people asking for something. Approach them with sincere admiration for their work and an intelligent question that proves you've done your homework. A question that makes them think. That kind of engagement is rare and incredibly valuable. It's not about being a fan. It's about demonstrating you're a future peer. The goal isn't to extract a secret. The goal is to be in the room where the secrets are just normal conversation. When you surround yourself with people who operate at a higher frequency, you have no choice but to tune your own frequency to match. Your standards for what is possible are recalibrated. This is the final piece of the puzzle for breaking through your income ceiling. It's not about what you know or even what you build. It's about who you know, and more importantly, who knows you. All right, we've come a long way. In the second act, we built the machine. We established the systems, the defenses, and the engine that automatically and steadily builds wealth in the background. That was about creating stability, but this last act, this was about taking that stable machine and turning it into a rocket ship. It was about shifting from steady to fast. This was about shattering the ceiling on your income. We covered a 3-stage rocket with each stage firing to push you into a higher orbit of earning potential. The first stage was the most fundamental, investing in the one asset you have total control over, your own mind. The skills you build, the knowledge you acquire, this is the highest leverage investment you will ever make. Forget a 10% return in the market. A single new skill can double or triple your income, a return of 1,000% or more, for life. This is the fuel for everything that follows. You can't build anything of value without the tools, and your skills are those tools. Once that first stage ignites, it provides the thrust for the second, building multiple income streams. This is how you escape the profound fragility of relying on a single paycheck. With your new skills as a foundation, you can start creating value in different forms: a side project, a digital product, a consulting gig. Each new stream isn't just extra money. It's a new pillar supporting your financial structure. It's the difference between standing on one leg and standing on a solid, wide base. You move from simply earning more to building more. And that leads to the final and most powerful stage of acceleration, leveraging your network. This isn't about collecting contacts, it's about gaining access. When you've built valuable skills and created multiple sources of income, you are no longer asking for help. You are offering value. You become someone worth knowing. This is when you gain entry into the rooms where one conversation, one idea can save you 5 years of mistakes. As one writer put it, building a real community in an isolated world becomes an unfair advantage. It creates leverage. This is where you find the information and opportunities that will never appear in a Google search. These 3 accelerators are not a checklist. They are a feedback loop. You invest in a skill, which allows you to build a new income stream. That success and expertise make you a more valuable person in your network. Your network then exposes you to new ideas, which prompts you to learn another skill. The cycle repeats, and with each rotation, your income potential grows, not linearly, but exponentially. This is the ultimate strategy for breaking through any plateau. This is how you stop trading time for money and start creating a future of limitless possibility. But a limitless future doesn't happen by accident, it's built. And here's the brutal truth. The blueprint we've just laid out, every single principle, every strategy, every mindset shift, is completely and utterly useless if it just stays in your head. Information doesn't build wealth, action does. So I'm not leaving you with just ideas. I'm leaving you with a challenge, a simple one. I call it your first Millionaire Action Challenge. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't try to do everything at once. I want you to do just one thing. Pick any single action we've talked about and commit to doing it for the next 30 days. That's it. Just one. Maybe it's as simple as setting up your very first automatic transfer to a savings account, even if it's just for $10. Maybe it's tracking your first expense tonight. Just open a notes app and write it down. Maybe it's committing to finally read that one book that resonated with you. The size of the action doesn't matter. The consistency does. So here's what I want you to do. Right now, go down to the comments section and plant your flag. Declare which action you are choosing. Write it down. This isn't just a comment. It's a public commitment, a contract with your future self. Then, in 1 month, come back to this video and reply to your own comment. Check in. Tell us what happened. Tell us what changed. Because a year from now, you will have wished you started today. So let today be the day. Like this video to signal you're ready to build and subscribe. Because we are on this road to wealth together. I'll see you at the next stop.